You well know one of the most animating forces right now in the party is Sarah Palin. I made a reference to her. She was at a Ronald Reagan dinner in Iowa over the weekend. She's campaigning across the country, advocating across the country, as she did in Delaware, which helped Christine O'Donnell get elected. Some Republicans think that has hurt the seat. What is her impact right now on the Republican Party, and does it bother you?
She's a star. Well, it doesn't bother me. I mean, she is out there mixing it up. She's conveying her views. She's animating people to come forward and participate in the political process. I didn't think she was ready to be President of the United States in 2008, and I'm not sure she would be in 2012. But there's nothing wrong with former Governor Palin getting out there, presenting her views, and animating American political life. People seem to suggest or think that this is something new and wild. But if you look at our history, we have had movements like this throughout our history. We've had this kind of political fighting throughout our history. It's the nature of our democratic system. One of the problems that I'm having with all of it right now is that there is a certain undercurrent of thought that is not helpful. When people want to attack the president, attack him. The presidents are used to being attacked, but let's not go down low. Let's not go down and start saying...
Well, let me give you one example of that, because Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House, has made some references to a book that's out called The Roots of Obama's Rage. And this is in part what he had to say. I'll put it up on the screen to the National Review. What if Obama is so outside our comprehension that only if you understand Kenyan anti-colonial behavior can you begin to piece together his actions? That is the most accurate predictive model for his behavior. This is a person who is fundamentally out of touch with how the world works, who happened to have played a wonderful con, as a result of which he is now president. What is this?
I would just tell my fellow Americans, think carefully about what was just said. Think carefully about some of the stuff that is coming across the blogs and the airways. Let's make a couple of points. One, the president was born in the United States of America. Let's get rid of that one. Let's get rid of the birther thing. Let's attack him on policy, not nonsense. Next, he is a Christian. He is not a Muslim. 20% of the people say he is a Muslim. 80% apparently do not believe he's a Muslim.
31% of Republicans say he's a Muslim.
Well, surprise, surprise. But I bet you $1 if the unemployment rate was not 9.6, but it was down to 4%, then you would find only 5% thinking he's Muslim. So they're attacking the president on this line. But he is not a Muslim. He is a Christian. And I think we have to be careful when we take things like Dinesh D'Souza's book, which is the source of all of this, and suggest that somehow the president of the United States is channeling his dead father through some Kenyan spirits. This doesn't make any sense. Mr. Gingrich does these things from time to time with a big, bold statement. He did it with Sotomayor. She's a reverse racist. He did it with Elena Kagan. She ought to be taken off the nomination for Supreme Court Justice. And he does it occasionally to make news and to also stir up dust, kind of like the...
Well, what is this doing, General, the party, in your view?
I think it may appeal to certain elements of the party. It may appeal to the fringe elements of the party. But I don't think it appeals to all Republicans, and I don't think it appeals to the whole country. This kind of chatter, he's a Kenyan channeler and all this sort of stuff, makes a lot of news. And you will find that Governor Palin and people on the right side of the political spectrum, along with the Tea Party movement, really are getting a lot of attention, a lot of news, and they're making a lot of noise, and they're making a lot of chatter throughout our political system. And that's fine, that's good. But I don't think anybody should grab that and think that's the entire country.
Do you think that Republicans are poised to retake at least the House, and would you like to see them do that with the current slate of candidates and some of the ideas?
I don't know. The pollsters would tell us that the Republicans are poised to take over the House. That wouldn't break my heart. I wouldn't go into a funk. Frankly, it might be good for the president to have the Republicans owning one of the two bodies of our Congress.
How so?
And because then they have responsibility. You can't just say no to everything. You can't just sit around beating up the president. But the president also has to, I think, shift the way in which he has been doing things. I think the American people feel that too many programs have come down. There are so many rocks in our knapsack now that we're having trouble carrying it. I think the president has to, like a razor blade, just go right after the single issue that is uppermost in the minds of the American people, and that's employment.